Hey everybody, it's me, Lawrence Presman. We had a lot of technical difficulties sound-wise. Let me start by asking Dave Koken, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yeah, baby. How was your weekend, my friend?
Pretty good. Swept baseball, 3-0 Saturday and Sunday, 2-1 in the NHL so far. Really irritated that I didn't play Minnesota, but hindsight's 2020. But I'll take the 2-1 and move on.
Oh, well, that's not bad. I went 1-2 in my NHL plays, and I also lost with the Leafs. I didn't bet them, but they broke my heart. Although I'm resigned to the fact that they're never going to win ever in my life, and I'm cheering for a new team. Andrew, what's happening with you? You're on a roll, dude.
Things are going well. I'm happy to have NHL back, NBA, MLB is going well as well, and have a 5% play up. I don't make too many in the NHL, but I'm on a 9-1, 5% play run, over 40% bankroll increase for my clients, and started off the playoffs 4-1. So hoping to keep these good numbers rolling and cash a 5% ticket for the clients here on $9 Monday.
Excellent stuff. There you go, everybody. Andrew McGinnis with the play for today. Carmine, my brother, what's going on with you? How was your weekend?
Weekend was good. A ton of stuff going on, and a ton of stuff that's not sports related going on, as I am in the middle of renovations. So if you hear any banging in the background, that's what it is. Andrew, good luck on your 5% play. I'm ready to go. Finished off last night, thankfully, with a winner on the Leafs under. Sorry your team lost, Prez. It went as I expected. So let's just keep this. Let's get right into it, man, and keep this run going.
Got it, brother. Nice to see you, Brian Watson, Toby Lane, Steven Illuminati's, and Vivian Presman. She made an appearance today with the Prez.
Wow, Viv in the
Prez,
house.
you need to bleed blue forever. Viv, all I do is bleed blue. Because there's nothing else to celebrate. It's blood coming out of my body because that team sucks so bad.
She's a closet Bruins fan.
I knew the meltdown was coming. Go get him, guys.
Oh, Dave, there's no meltdown. I'm totally at one with it. Let's get straight to it because we got our first game starting in literally 48 minutes. Carolina, New York Rangers. Carolina with a win in the first game. Game went under the total. We have a total of 5.5 today. Carolina, a bigger favorite at -145. Dave Koken, I'll start with you first.
So even though the Rangers didn't get anything on the power play in the first game, had it not been for all the Carolina penalties, this game probably would have been a slaughter. The Hurricanes just way better. They were the way better team in the game. And I know the automatic, the knee jerk is, well, we get the bounce back here. I don't think it happens. I think this could be a sweep. They're just too quick for them and too skilled for them, to be honest with you. I think the Hurricanes are going to win again.
Yeah, I mean, look, Carmen and I were talking about this last night, and we wanted the number just slightly shorter. I agree. I think the Hurricanes are going to win today, too. I also like under the total of 5.5. I see no reason not to jump back right on board with the under. Andrew?
Well, I said that the Hurricanes were going to win the series before it started, but I still do think it'll be a competitive and tight-knit series. So I'm going to go actually with the bounce-back spot with the Rangers here. And, you look at what they were able to do. We had Mika Zibanejad. He came out and did what he was expected to do. He had a goal. He had a great the top line looked awesome. It has to be the depth, and we have to see more from the second and third line. 26 shots and 26 shots that weren't too quality isn't really enough. This is a team that has to get back, and I always talk about how physical hockey belongs in the playoffs, and they didn't play that. They stuck to the perimeter, and, like you said, Prez, Carolina was a little bit too physical for them. But, I think that you look at the hits that they had, because New York actually led in hits. They weren't actually near the net. They weren't behind the net. They were just kind of like center ice, and that can't happen. They had to be in important parts of the area of the ice. And 0-7 on the power play. We talked about those power plays early. It was 1-7 for the Hurricanes. But if we look on the season, this New York Rangers team, they lived and died by this power play, and it was something that was very, very critical for them. And, if we look at the playoffs so far from what we've seen, teams that were successful in the power play, they won the game. It's just how it was. And Hurricanes 37 shots. We got it. The Rangers have to keep the Hurricanes to the outside. And to that point, I understand we've got two teams can play great defensively, two great goaltenders as well. I look at the power play opportunities. I look at the amount of shots we saw, and I look at a bounce back spot. I actually disagree. I look for the over here.
He's Andrew McGinnis. He is a 5% play up tonight in NHL. Make sure to go over to WagerTalk.com and get it. It's $9 Mondays. Every play, $9. Carmine, I was most impressed with the Canes' forecheck. It was a swarming forecheck. Two men very low, one in the middle at the top of at the blue line. The Rangers just really struggled to get the puck out of their end with momentum. That's something that has to change. Teams can make adjustments to it. Where are you in this game?
That's just it. Where we're at now is what Quinn can do, and what they might have done on Sunday in practice to try to break that down. Because as Andrew said, that power play has to be better. Anything, a goal would be better than what they did. The Canes didn't give them anything. Didn't give them time to get into the zone, to set up, and when you dump it in or bring it in, it goes right back down ice. You're just not going to score any goals. The thing here is this series, much like the Toronto series last night, and I don't want to harp on your Leafs, but the Leafs and the Rangers knew what they were getting when you're playing Columbus and when you're playing Carolina. You're playing that is going to forecheck you, that are going to press you, that are just going to make it tough to go through center ice and to set anything up. You know what they're going to give you. So Carolina's going to do the exact same thing tonight. Columbus tomorrow is going to do the exact same thing. It's up to the coaching staff to give the players something and how to beat this, how to beat that trap, how to get into the zone. You've got to change it up. I was looking at this total originally, and I was really hoping that Shesterkin was in net. I have no idea. Up until about 30 minutes before we went to air, it was still unclear. And it's one of those things that it's probably Quinn just not giving Carolina anything on who the starting goalie is going to be. I'm with Andrew on this one. I hate going against Dave a lot of the times, but I'm going with the bounce back here and the Rangers.
He's Carmine Bianco. I'd like to welcome Theab Repulate Gaming. That's quite the word. Richie Rich, nice to see you, brother. Matt Carpenter, Talisman. We love having all you guys. One short ward. Quick mention today. Andrew, first pitch 2 p.m. Eastern with Dave Koken. Who else is on the show with you?
We've got Steve Merrill, Marco, and mid-major Matt. So quite the crew here going, and 7 days a week. First pitch. It's been great so far.
Nicely done, and you're on a 9-1 NHL run, so everybody make sure to check out that play. Guys, let's talk Winnipeg, Calgary. A huge game in the first. The first game was massive. Kachuk's hit maybe changed the outcome of the series, and I thought it was totally. I mean, I had no problem with the hit. I understand that his skate went up, and but it just didn't look like a dirty hit to me.
It wasn't.
Paul Maurice is irate over it. I think he's wrong, but he's using it as a way.
He's defending his
he's rallying
team.
The troops.
Yeah, but Kachuk is a chippy guy, and he's not a real clean player. But that hit wasn't. He didn't try and stab him with his skate.
No chance. No chance at all. And I think Paul Maurice's rally cry is going to backfire on him. I think Calgary is the team here, boys. Minus 150. Gaudreau looked good. Over and under is 5.5, and I can't take 150. I think it's way too big for what is, in all intents and purposes, the most important game of the series for Winnipeg. Carm, I'll go to you first. It's an outright pass for me.
Yeah, I like Calgary to win this series. Obviously, that hasn't changed. Game one really solidified that. Calgary played well. Winnipeg just generated absolutely no offense in this game after that first period. They had 11 shots in the second and third periods combined. You're not going to win a lot of games playing like that, and you're definitely not going to win a lot of games when you're down 3-1 heading to the third, and you only managed, I think it was 5 shots in the third period. You can't hang this one on Hellenbruck. He played well. They got 33 shots on net for the Flames. Like you said, this is the most important game, and I didn't see anything in that game that would convince me that the Jets can flip that around tonight and beat them. But that's just me. So for me, it's
That's not just you.
Okay, Dave, where are you at?
But look, the negative for Winnipeg coming in was Hellebuck's been great, but their defense stinks. Okay, it's a below average defense, and it really showed in game one. They were out of position on a frequent basis. Calgary dominated that game. There was never one moment in that game where I thought the Jets were going to win. They just were clearly the second best team on the ice. Now they could be. I don't have an update. They could be without 2 of their top offensive players, and this is a team that has to win with offense. I just don't see it. I think Calgary has got a really good chance to sweep this series, and they're making you pay for the Flames tonight, $1.45, $1.50, but they're not going to tempt me on the Winnipeg side. It's Flames or pass.
Andrew McGinnis, we're all on the same page here. Are you?
I just don't think we can just all of a sudden start throwing this team in the garbage can. We have obviously 2 players that are very key got injured and it went down. And I want just my little quick 2 cents on the play is that I don't think it was a dirty play. I think that Scheifele turned at the wrong time. However, the problem is, Dave, is that it's who it was that made the hit. If that was anybody besides Tkachuk, nobody bats an eye. It's just a really a weird scenario, right? But it's Tkachuk. I look at it like this. The Flames, although they definitely did control the play, they scored half their goals in the power play, and they were nice goals. And the Jets went 0 for 7 on the power play. And also, when you lose not just 1 but 2 key players, you feel shitty about it for the rest of the game. However, a large portion of the time, we see teams bounce back and rally around each other and kind of recover. And people are probably sick and tired of me using the word depth, but this Winnipeg team does have it. I'm in a fantasy hockey pool with some friends. I took Kyle Connor in it over a couple other guys on this team because he's involved in a lot of stuff and he gets good matchups against the opposition's deep pairings.
Yeah.
I think Winnipeg has a good chance here, but I'm looking at the under here, Prez. I just don't think this Winnipeg team is going to be able to be involved in any type of fast-paced game. They're going to have to use their size, get below the defense, and work the cycle, just like Columbus was doing against the Leafs, because they're not going to be successful. I always say that inexperience doesn't look well in the playoffs. The young guys on Calgary played well. They play, and we have to see some of the big guys use their size for Winnipeg and get behind the D. Like Carmine said, I don't think the Hellebuck is to blame. However, I do think we see a better performance from him this afternoon.
Yeah, listen, Andrew, I don't think the Jets are as deep as you think. And frankly, they were they were right on the cusp of making the playoffs to begin with. So it's not like there's some unbelievable team. Not a year ago, Calgary came into the playoffs, number 1 or number 2 in the league for the President's Trophy. I think their early exit last year is going to keep them very strong and very focused. I'm with Dave and Carm on this one. I lean towards Calgary, but as I said, it's an outright pass for me. It's going to be a great.
What about the total? Do you guys agree with my under? Or
what
do you guys think about that?
I struggled. I lost with the over in Winnipeg in the first game, and I just thought Calgary. There's so much speed on the ice with that inexperienced defense, and I was wrong. So to me, I'm laying off. Carmen, Dave, anything on the total?
Not for me, but I just want to add that I did check the Rangers Twitter, and Sherstaken is definitely in goal in the game that starts in about 40 minutes.
There you go. That bodes really well for the under, everybody. We're gonna do Washington, Tampa Bay, Dallas, and Vegas at the end of the show. Pittsburgh minus 175 against Montreal. A total of 5.5 here, and I watched this game. I thought Pittsburgh just dominated, but and I'll go to you, Dave, first on this. This reminded me of the Pittsburgh series last year, I think, against the Islanders, where they just couldn't put the puck in the back of the net. Their sphincter got really tight, and all of a sudden they were out. Is this going to happen again? I mean, I got to believe that Pittsburgh can win this game tonight and win it going away.
Well, they need to get more physical with the Canadiens. Montreal's not a big team, and you can push them around. And they didn't do that in game one. So they need to come with a little different game plan. I also, honestly, I mean, I'm not the coach, but I'm not starting Murray. I would have started Jerry in game one. I would expect Jerry to be in goal tonight. And I'd be really surprised if Murray is.
Dave, what was it about Murray's performance you didn't like? I like Jerry better too, but I mean, the goals weren't anything special.
He was okay, although there was one goal that I thought was iffy. But to me, I want the guy who's been playing better in goal. This is why, look, I mean, Talbot's been a backup his whole life. But I thought it was the right move for Calgary to go with him. Stalock's been a backup his whole life. He's literally played one playoff game in his life. But I thought it was the right move to go to him. You go with the goalie who's been better. And it's simple as that. Jerry has been a better goaltender this season than Murray. I want my number one goalie in net. So it was a confusing decision to me. And believe me, the Penguins have a great coach. He knows more than I do. But I disagreed with that decision. I don't know what to do with this game. I listen, the Canadiens they're going to be freewheeling, feeling great about themselves after winning a game one. And I honestly thought they were the better team. They had certain limitations, but they played smart. I mean, they just were not getting caught up ice. Really solid positional play by the Canadiens, and that took away a lot of what Pittsburgh wants to do. I don't know what to do with this game. I think the Penguins might even it up, but I'm sure not willing to bet on it.
He's Dave Koken. Jared, nice to see you in the chat room. Same with you, Tyler. Both of you guys like Pittsburgh in regulation, and I do as well. I am nervous, like what Dave is saying, but man, I gotta believe if Pittsburgh has a chance, they have to win this game. We're gonna see, one of you guys, Jared, you like over 5.5. Man, I think they're gonna keep Montreal down to 1 goal. I think it's a 3-1, 4-1, 5-1 game. I prefer the under, and yeah, man, I'm with you guys. I like Pitt in regulation. Carm?
I'm actually going to put a completely different spin on it. I agree with what Dave said, and you've got to get Jari in net. If you believe Pittsburgh's going to win tonight, they're likely going to win the series. And the series price right now on Pittsburgh is minus 105. So I understand they could win tonight and lose the series, but I have to believe if the Penguins huge favorite to win this series at minus 225 going into this series and they lose the first one, they're minus 105. If you think they're going to win tonight, they're likely going to win game 3 and 4. In my opinion, they're a better team than Montreal, top to bottom.
Wait, hold on.
And that's behind the bench as well too. I understand what you're saying. Carey Price is a better goalie. Carey Price is he'll steal you a game. But he is not going to steal a series. I'm sorry, Andrew. You have to put your bias aside.
I'm not putting my bias anywhere. They won the game. They won game 1.
Yeah, they won game 1. Congratulations. What do you?
Yes. And if it was a 1-game series, I would get it. But it's not a 1-game series. It's a 5-game series. And over 5 games, Pittsburgh is a better team and will win the series. So I'm taking the series price at minus 105.
I love it.
Old stuff, and it doesn't mean anything as far as this series goes because anything is random. But going back to the old days when they played best of 5s in the NHL, team that won game 1 wins the series more than 80% of the time.
That's amazing stat. Andrew, I agree with Richie Rich and not Dave Koken. I thought Pittsburgh completely outplayed Montreal. It was in their end all game, but Montreal did play well. Their system on defense, they did keep. They kept great scoring chances away. Pittsburgh was on the outside a lot.
How can you say they dominated?
Look, guys, I actually don't have a play on this game.
Neither do I. The Penguins didn't get to play their game in game 1. I thought Montreal, shots on goal and territorial edges are nice, but to me, you have to watch the flow of the game. And I thought Montreal played. If they didn't win the stats, but I thought they played a better game than the Penguins did.
We can look at I'll use a sport that a panelist on here is very familiar with. Look at soccer these days. We could see the possession be 70-30, and that 30% team could be up 2-0. Possession does not matter anymore. Montreal played a smart game.
Yeah.
The forwards came back. They collapsed. They did what they had to do. And the most impressive thing is they stuck around on the faceoff dot. We saw guys like Nick Suzuki, a young guy, first of all, scores a goal. Jesperi Kotkaniemi, another young guy, scores a goal, playoff game.
Terrific.
And we look at the hits. You know, Dave talked about Montreal being a soft team. 53-30 were the hits. This team came out aggressive. They came out strong. They surprised Pittsburgh. The block shots, 27-17. You know, do I think that Malkin's going to have as bad as a horrible game? Oh. No, he's gonna play better. But there's no bias when I say, yes, I know it was one game, and I'm not even talking as a fan right now. We can't ignore stats. We can't ignore what we're seeing when this team was able to score a few goals. Pittsburgh did not play well.
I get it, Andrew.
I saw Malkin hit the barn door 8 times. Didn't hit the net once.
It almost sounds like it's a game of what ifs. Well, what if this? What if that?
There's no what if. I'm going based on what I saw.
Can Montreal replicate this over 5 games? No.
Well, maybe they only have to replicate it over 3.
But Carmine, based on your theory, we should be going off what we saw.
Guys,
if we're using what ifs, we would say if Sherry had scored that penalty with 2 minutes left in the game, Pittsburgh's up 1-0 and going to sweep the series.
We have to go off what we saw. We saw Montreal win. We didn't see Pittsburgh win. So how can we say they're better?
Do you have a bet on this game?
I think that Montreal won the first game, and it doesn't sound like anybody else thinks they did.
Okay, great. That was yesterday's news.
No, it's yeah.
Okay, Andrew, we're on a betting show, and we can't go back to Saturday and make that bet. So if you could kindly focus on tonight's game, do you have a play or are you passing?
I agree with what Carmine said. If you like Pittsburgh, take the series.
Okay, there you go.
That would be that's the value bet. I'm not playing this game.
Andrew, I still love you, brother.
No, he hates you.
You're a Habs fan.
I know he hates you. He told me on Saturday.
No, I actually love. There's really only one guy. I don't hate anybody.
I look forward to the show.
Of the gang here, I kind of rate Dave Koken and Andrew as 1 in 1A, and then Prez, sorry, you're like
screw you, Carm.
A C for Columbus.
Nobody needs to hear your shit. Edmonton.
I love that
Columbus showed up for the first 1 minute of this game and then fell asleep. The Saturday night game, -135 tonight. Total of 6. I got to go right back to the well. I like Edmonton. I also like the over in this game. I've been touting Edmonton since we started puck time back in on Thursday, and I'm just gonna chalk it up to a bad game. Dave Koken.
There's not a chance I'm playing Edmonton. I don't know that I'll play the Blackhawks, but I'm going to tell you, Chicago's going to come out of that game brimming with confidence, and they were the better team. And a big part of it was their experience up front. These playoff goes back to their Stanley Cup days. I know these guys are getting a little older, but you never would have known it. Watching Taves play, he was fantastic in the game. Kane, as usual. I think the Oilers have a lot of pressure on them here because a lot of high expectations coming into this series with, the best player on earth. And I, again, look, I'm not a coach, but I was shocked. I was literally shocked when Mike Smith was in goal, was putting goal, and he sucked, okay? I don't want to hear, he made a few good saves. He was terrible in that game, and he cost him a game. He might well have cost him the game because he let in a couple of really bad goals early in the first period, and then he left him in. I'm tweeting when it's 3-1. It's like, boy, I'd get him out of there right now. But it's still a game. He lays him in, and it's 5-1. It's like, what are you doing? I got to tell you, Chicago's on a free. This is a free roll for the Blackhawks right now because everybody said, and I don't disagree with this is the worst team in the playoffs. Well, they're up 1 game, and they're going to be feeling really good about themselves. Edmonton maybe got a little momentum with the late play, but I don't buy much into that. They got their asses kicked in that game. They better set the tone in the first period of this game. I got to tell you, if Chicago gets out of the first period ahead, they're going to win this game. So this might be a live bet for me because you won't get an expensive price, even if the Blackhawks are up a goal. after first period. It still won't be expensive. And I'll jump on the Blackhawks live at that point. Better get them early here. They're in trouble.
Dave Koken, WagerTalk.com. I'm with a lot of you guys. Toby, Andrew G, Talisman, I'm not with you there. Tyler, I'm not with you either. I like Edmonton. I'm going back to the well, Carm.
You know, the thing is, and I'm going to harp on this right through all the game ones or into the game twos is we didn't know. We thought we knew a lot of what could happen in the game ones, and we base our opinions on how the season went and, and metrics. But there were surprises. The Columbus one, obviously a surprise. The Montreal one, a surprise. So heading into game two, it's very easy to just flip it and say, okay, well, Edmonton's got to win. Pittsburgh's got to win. That's a way of looking at it. If you believe that they're the better team. The Smith thing, I talked about on the last show with, that last season, I thought Smith was a detriment to the team in the playoffs, and he played great. And then this year, it's the exact opposite. He was brutal. He shouldn't have been in there. I actually would have been better with Koskinen starting the game because then you have Smith on the bench who is a veteran and can come in. That's probably the way they should have gone. And I think it's the way they're going to go tonight. As far as the game goes, this is, again, I'm going to go back to these series prices. And Edmonton went from minus 180 series price to plus 140 now. So if and only if you believe Edmonton's a better team and that they're going to win tonight's game, you can get them at plus 140 to win the series.
Carm. I'm with you, and I think Edmonton and Pittsburgh still have a good chance of winning this series. Andrew, where are you going in this one?
Yeah, to Carm's point, that's why a lot of the times I like to bet either in game or during the series on the series prices or before, and then kind of bet totals during the series because you can get a great number on Edmonton, like Carmine said. But, looking back to a lot of puck time episodes that we've had, Prez, I know you like the Oilers as well. A lot of times what you would talk about and what I would talk about is that we need other guys to score besides McDavid. And if we look at what happened in this game for them, the first two goal scorers were the aforementioned McDavid and Draisaitl. So, it would have made me happy to see two other guys start the scoring off and let these two other guys get their goals later in the game. Obviously, I think we have to give some credit to Kubalik. He played outstanding. Broke a record, I believe, of 5 points in the game. Unbelievable. Do I think he'll do it again? I don't. I'm not going to stress the goaltending situation too much because you guys already mentioned it. But I will say I watched Koskinen in the exhibition game. He looked solid. He played great. To me, there was just no reason why he wasn't out there. I think feel from them. But I think the panel, if you're watching in Canada, the panel did a great job of describing the way that the Oilers were giving up their goals. And they were just collapsing way too hard in their own end. I mean, they were not covering guys. The forwards were not playing defense, not to get right back into it. But I think the reason why that Montreal played well, even though they're small, they helped out their defensemen because they know their defensemen are weak. And I think the Oilers had to do that as well. They have to realize they're not just forwards. They're also playing defense too and come back and help. And that's going to be the message in the locker room, I believe. I'm not in there, but I think that'll be the message. So I think the Oilers will win. To Carmine's point, great price on the series, but obviously this isn't a series show. It's a betting show for tonight's game. So I think Edmonton will win the game. And to your point, Prez, I think it's really hard to go against the total here. You look at so many of the games, right? Like so many of these veteran teams are teams with a defensive style. Talk about Minnesota, Chicago as well, Columbus. Those to me, those types of teams were bet on for game ones. But the thing is, the teams like the Edmonton Oilers and Vancouver Canucks with the youth, with the speed, after one game, they got their legs under them again. They got ready to go. They're energized. They're fired up. Their competitive nature is back. It should have already been back. Game two, to me, is the bet-on situation for these teams.
Okay, boys. Last two games.
Prez,
sorry?
Can I just add something? Real quick?
Go ahead.
The Rangers tweet was taken down, and I'm looking at lineups now, and it's showing Lundqvist in net.
Oh, now it's Lundqvist?
Yes.
Yeah, and
Oh,
a lot of the guys in the
I
chat
just seen a
room.
tweet on Shesterkin.
Yeah, it's breaking news. It actually just came out, so not sure what's going on there.
Yeah.
It's
That's,
showing Shesterkin is on the bench.
Yeah, Jacob Werner just said that as well in the chat room. Hey, Kmart, nice to see you. Connor, Joseph, Kid Threes, Nolavid. Leafs weren't that pathetic yesterday. Okay, so what a great chat room today. 190 people. We're rocking and rolling. We are under 500 people from 50,000 subscribers to our channel. Let's get that done this week. Also make mention, Puck Time is going every day this week, 11 a.m. Same group of guys tomorrow. Wednesday and Thursday we'll be bringing Buster into the mix. Boys, let's do both of these games together. It's the exhibition or round robin games. Who knows? Some teams might care, some teams might not. I'm just going to outright pass on both of these games. If I had to bet them, I would take Tampa Bay and the Vegas Golden Knights, but I see no reason to bet them, so it's a pass for me, Dave Koken.
Well, we saw the Bruins didn't care at all yesterday. I mean, that was about as bad a performance as and this goes to something I've said over and over again over the years, is that seeding means more to the media and the fans than it does to the players. They don't care. Okay, they never have and they never will. Seeding is meaningless to the players. It's just not something, we got to get this game so we get a better seed. They're already in, okay? And they don't really care who they're playing in the next. They'll get serious in the next round. And that makes betting these games very dicey. I think the Golden Knights, I think, are a little better team than Dallas, but I'm not really enthused about laying even a moderate price because, again, I don't think it means a whole lot. I think it's more about getting sharp than anything else. Now, the other game's a little more interesting because this is the first playoff game Tampa Bay's played since they skated off the ice with their heads between their legs after getting swept by the Columbus Blue Jackets. So I think there's a little more importance. And again, this is just a guess on my part because I'm not in their dressing room. But I think maybe if there's one team in these round robins that really wants to set a positive tone, it's probably the Lightning. And I think Tampa Bay, based on that, might be a decent play. Also, look, the better goaltender for Washington this year is not playing. I know Holtby's got a great playoff. Go back to 2 years ago. I mean, he took over after the second game, which were both losses against Columbus, started every game the rest of the way, and they won the Cup. But Holtby was not very good this season. And I would, the other guy's hurt, so it's not a question as to who's going to play here. But I think that hurts the Caps a little bit. I think he's beatable against a good offense. Yeah. So I think maybe there's an edge for the Lightning in this game. Yeah,
Carm agrees with you. Carm loves the Lightning here too. Go ahead, my brother.
Yeah. I took futures. I took futures earlier in the season on Tampa Bay when they were struggling, and you could get them at 9-1, 10-1. So I took some money on them then, and I took them. When this new playoff format came out, and they were 6.5-1. So I took them again. I think we see. I like what Cooper did with the team. Like I talked about in the last show. I had them, sacrificing points in order to play a style that he knew they would need to play in the playoffs in order to win. And on that note, just going back to the, talking about the 4 games and teams needing to win, and you figure they're going to win the next game. I lost a lot of money on Tampa Bay last year in the playoffs, thinking there's no way they're going to lose game 2, and then there's no way they're going to lose game 3. And then, like an idiot, there's no way they're going to lose game 4, and they get swept. So it doesn't always work the way we think it's going to work, as Dave will tell you. But for me, it's Tampa Bay tonight. And in the other game, I think it's going to be similar to that Colorado-St. Louis game. As far as a low-scoring game, I'm taking first period under in the Golden Knights Dallas game.
Andrew McGinnis, you've got the last word.
I second that first period under with Carmine. I wish I took more of those. Obviously, it's easier to say that now. The games are already played, but I look at Major League Soccer, the English Premier League. I said this on the show last week. It takes time for teams to get involved and get things going. First 5 to 10 minutes in these first couple of games can be kind of a wash, and we saw that. I cashed 2% with the Rangers first period under, 2% with the Habs first period under, and I agree with this as well. And Carmine, I'm kind of shocked with the price we're seeing here as well. I'm looking at around minus 115 here in this one, and I look at as far as the Tampa game goes, Prez, I like the over in this one, and at first I was looking at the first period over. But then I saw sixes, and I thought it would be a sure thing, though everywhere would be 6.5. I don't know if it's based off what we've seen, Prez, so far in these playoffs, but I'm not going to pass up a 6 with Tampa and Washington. And the funny thing is, some teams, they get their defense back before they get their offense back. I think these teams are going to get their offense back before they get their defense back.
I hear you on that. Boys, let's call it a show. Outstanding stuff. Kept it to 36 minutes. Really like to get the show tighter. Andrew McGinnis, thanks, my brother. Carmine Bianco, Dave Koken. What a fun show. Tomorrow, less games. 11 a.m. Eastern. We'll see all three of you back here. Guys, in the posting forum, it was so active, so fun to watch. Richie Rich, thanks for the nice words. You too, Matt Carpenter. We really appreciate doing this. We really appreciate you guys logging on, taking the time out of your day. Make sure to check out our NBA show today at 3 p.m. Eastern, our baseball show at 2 p.m. Eastern, and stay tuned. Teddy and my show will be talking about it throughout the week. Hopefully it will be ready for Monday of next week. It will be at noon Eastern. It's called WagerTalk today. We'll talk a little bit more about it tomorrow. I love you all. Be well. 6 games today. Enjoy every moment.